Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Gruggs here at Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back once again, troops, Legionnaires, and any new recruits. I got something exciting to test out today. This is the GTKii GTK10 in DC53 tool steel. This is one massive chopper, and we're going to be putting it to the test. What's everybody carrying today? Well, I figure if I was to go into woods with such a massive chopper like this, I'd want a little bit smaller companion, preferably a fixed blade. So today I'm carrying the Chris Reeve clone Inyani in 12C27 steel. It's pretty nice for 35 bucks. What are you all carrying today? Veterans, active military. This might be a pretty good option in a jungle environment. Just want to say thank you very much for your service and enjoy the video. Quick specs, let's get it done. Once again, this is the GTKii GTK10 chopper. Overall length 15-inch, blade length 9.2-inch, blade steel DC53, blade thickness 6 millimeters, blade hardness 58 to 61 HRC, blade width 1.9-inch, handle length 5.8-inch, handle thickness 0.87-inch, handle material is a nylon fiberglass, knife weight is 21.8 ounce. With the sheath, it's 28.2 ounce, and it features full Tang, lanyard hole, Kydex sheath, and a nylon belt loop. Ooh-wee, there we go, troops. Look at that. That is a nice bellied looking blade right there. Very, very nice. I'm kind of getting used to this design, although I would have rather have seen it 6 millimeters all the way through. In any case, I think it will still do the job. Plenty of belly right here, okay? Flat ground, so it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a damn fine chopper, and I got a pretty decent sized log. I'm going to show you in a minute or two once we get chopping, but it should do the job. An excellent sharpening choil, and will also act as a very good finger choil for some close-up work. The handle is very nice and comfortable, kind of a bird's beak type handle. As you could see, a bit of a protruding tang right here, all right, in case you needed a baton or break some nuts or what have you. I mean, whatever, you know, pound down a 10 steak. Full tang goodness. You know, you could definitely hold this a couple of different ways. It's a pretty decent size handle with enough for maybe another finger or two. So if you have some big hands, I don't think you will be disappointed. Handles are a bit blocky, but definitely rounded off, as you can all see right here. I'm telling you, it does feel comfortable. I am going to put a lanyard on. I'm going to do it with, without a lanyard, maybe some gloves. And we're going to see how this knife performs. Now let's take a look at the sheath. The sheath is pretty nice. It's a big sheath. It's Kydex. It's good quality. Not as thick as some of the other GTKii blades, but not too bad. It is not ambidextrous. It's only one type of carry. But you do have a couple of rivets here if you needed to wrap something around the sheath, you know, attach it to a pack, etc. It does have this, though. It is a nylon belt loop, and it's pretty functional. So let's take a quick look and pop the knife in. Now, if you go take a look at my Legion premiere of this knife is a little loose in here, okay? It will pop out, all right? So you're gonna have to make sure that you use the snaps, okay, to hold this knife in place, as soon as I get it on, of course, all right? But it's a pretty nice presence. It does work. The sheath is very adequate. Maybe, you know, a heat gun might, you know, cure the looseness a little bit. However, you know, in this case, it's just fine. All right, let's get to testing. All right, troops, so you could see this is a pretty thick piece of wood. It is pretty awkward, but I'm going to do some chopping over here, make this a little bit more manageable. So let's get started. Did add a lanyard. Let's put this on. Let's see what this bad boy can do. off to a pretty good start. Handle seems to feel a little, you know, well, not a little, but feels comfortable. I am feeling a little bit of vibration so far, but I am hammering on here right now. So, you know, I'm thinking that this, you know, instead of bringing an axe or a saw, you bring this along with, you know, pocket knife or another small fixed blade. I think you'll be okay with this. Now let's keep going. That belly is doing a good job so far. That's good. Again, hard piece of wood. I'm going to try and use every part of the blade, but you know, there's the sweet spot right there, man. You know, it's like when I've got the momentum going to do the chop, it's going to go towards this area. Whoops. Okay, so the bird's beak is not too bad, but you can see once again, it is causing a hot spot and it's getting a little bit on the red side over here. I might have to put on gloves. If you're, you know, if you're going to use this and you take it slower, I'm sure it'll be okay. Very nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some gloves, okay? Because even though I have a good firm grip, it does tend to move my hand, you know, towards this bird's beak area. It's just the way it is. So let me put on some gloves because I don't want this to blister up. Let's keep going. Hopefully this glove will give it some added extra, you know, grip here. Okay, let's take a quick look at that edge. As far as I could tell, that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, for those who are new or just tuning in, this is a channel that tests out knives. One of the ways that I like to test out knives is to chop through some hard wood, see if the edge rolls, bends, chips. So keep that in mind. I'm letting the blade do the work. Okay, so far so good, man. Ooh, it's stuck in there, good. There we go. Okay, even with the gloves on, it is definitely causing some pain. Just that momentum is squishing that pinky. So definitely a great idea to put on a pair of gloves. Okay, let's see if I can safely cut this right here. Show them in frame. Whew. Just want to make sure when this breaks off, it doesn't hit the camera. Okay, let's see what we can do right here. Let's take a look. That looks good. Let's use that front part of the blade now. You can see little by little it's chipping away. Biting in big time. I am digging this blade. For the $40 that they're selling this for, so far so good, man. So far so good. There we go. All right, nice. Okay, you could see that's a gnarly piece of wood. Let's move on. All right, troops, that was crazy to me, man. So I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely wear a glove. As you could see, no blister, but it is reddish. So definitely wear a glove. Now I'm going to try and do some horizontal batoning through this weird piece of wood. So this should be a good test. Okay. That is rough, man. Let me tell you, I was giving it my all. So, trying to get the blade out. Whoop. almost fell. Okay, so, and I'm hitting the handle over here where somebody mentioned, I don't know if it was a subscriber or not, but somebody mentioned that another content creator tested a similar knife with the fiberglass handles that it broke, but so far so good. Okay. That looks pretty good. You know, while I'm at it, and let me show you, let's see, because I want to know myself, is this still sharp? And so far so good here. All right, it's making the curls. Right in the front area too, where I was chopping. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm going to keep on going here because you know, this is a channel to test out knives, and we're gonna put this knife through the test. Let's see what else I can do here. Wow, that is crazy. Whew, that's in there deep. Just want to make sure I'm safe as I'm taking this out, troops. So just 1 second. Okay, that's what I wanted to avoid. But so far, so good. You can see the split there. Let me pick that up, and we'll just continue on. Okay, let's try this side now. I think this log would give an axe a challenge. Oh, I'm hearing it crack. That's a good sign, right? Okay, so now somebody smart would put a wood wedge in here and split the rest of the wood. Again, this is a channel that tests out knives. That's what I'm doing, because so many people have doubts about DC53, about GTKii. Just trying to prove a point. Okay, once again, I need to reposition and safely move this out, take this out. Again, I'm hitting the handles. In fact, let me do this for everybody so you see. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look. That looks pretty good so far. So how else can I do this now? Okay, sorry about that. I had guests come, just say hello, ask me what I'm doing. Wow, I'll tell you, hitting this portion right now, the way it is embedded in the log, definitely some hand shock right here. Once again, I'm going to reposition, take it out, reposition a different way. And once again, I'm hitting the handle. And, okay, not good enough yet. Remember, troops, I already cut myself pretty bad and it sucked. I don't want it to ever happen again. So safety is important to me. Let's try it this way one more time. Oh, that is slamming my hand right now, but look at that. Look at that. Okay. Hell with it. Let me see if I can just keep on going. Starting to break. I'm still going through. Oh, look at that. I'm hitting my hand. So, you know it's no joke, troops. You know it's no joke. I might have to put on some gloves. You know what? Let me put on some gloves because that hurts. Gloves. Let's try it again. All right. As you can see, it's splitting. And I think I'm having such a rough time because I'm trying to get through this knot over here. So, okay, so while I have the knife like this, let's take a look at it. Okay, once again, just being careful here, troops. I do not want to get cut or wind up in the emergency room. But you can see, I don't see anything. No, I don't see anything. So this knife is hi, how you? Okay, this knife is kicking some ass. So far, so good. Look at that. Nothing. So I am trying to prove a point. I'm just going to keep on going. It's going to be a long video. It's not going to be your YouTube 12-minute videos. If you want to go take a look at those other content creators, be my guest. But this is a channel that tests out knives. And I don't know how anybody can judge a knife in 12 minutes. But whatever, to each their own, right? Maybe I need to tackle this a little bit different way. Whew, in any case, I think everybody gets the point so far. You know what? Let me loosen this up and I'll try splitting it the other way. We'll do some reverse. Okay, let me pick that up. That just hit the concrete. Let's try it this way. Kind of want to go where the split is, but maybe right about there. Let's see. Sweating up a storm, troops. So just bear with me. Okay. All right, troops, look. This thing is just insane hard. And I don't know, I don't want to waste too much more time, but I mean, you could see this thing is gnarly, man. All right, so let me grab the other piece of wood instead. However, I just wanted to show everybody, the beating that this knife just took. The handle beating, the edge looks good. So I'll just save this for the end of the video, but I mean, this thing is wicked, okay? This piece of wood is wicked. So if that didn't prove anything to you, I don't know what will, but in any case, let me grab the other piece. That was some beating, man, but definitely an abnormal piece of wood. Let's try this one instead, okay? Okay, splitting. So far so good. Let me pick that up. Okay, that just hit the concrete again. This knife is definitely taking a beating. Didn't go as straight as I wanted to go. However, it's doing what it's supposed to do here. Okay. Okay, much better. Much better piece of wood. Let's do the other side over here. Okay. There we go, troops. Done deal. Finally, I got to show you something. All right? Once again, gnarly piece of wood. I don't know what this stuff is, but man, oh man. That steel is kicking some ass right here, buddy. Let me tell you. Now, let's see. There you go. Nice, look at that. Excellent. All right, good, good, good. Listen, vertical batoning, horizontal batoning, I think I proved my point with this knife, man. So I'm going to grab, I'm not going to do any more processing because, again, I proved my point. So what I'm going to do now is just get some feather sticks or some smaller pieces from past tests, and you know, we'll take it from there. Believe it or not, I just cross-batoned through this with this knife, and it did a good job. But what I want to do is I want to make some, you know, decent-sized feather sticks. So it's, again, some crazy gnarly wood that it doesn't, you know, when I chop or baton, it doesn't, you know, give me some nice straight pieces. However, you know what? I think it's a pretty good test, and hopefully it shows everybody out there that I am testing these budget blades with some pretty decent, you know, some pretty decent wood, right? Okay, so I've made some kindling, some quarters, but for right now, as part of the fire making process, right? If you're out in the woods, you need to make, you know, some curls to light up for a fire. Point being, after all that abuse, and this knife took some abuse, there's absolutely no doubt about it. My edge is still pretty sharp. Okay, so here is a nice small little pile, and you could, you know, hopefully this, we've got to test out the spine, but hopefully it'll spark up a ferro rod, and you could start up a little fire and then grab all your twigs, etc., what have you. And if you're smart, you have a lighter, but you can grab all your twigs, you know, and then start laying everything on top, etc. So far so good with this. Let me just process this down a little bit more. I want to make just a quick feather stick for everybody with this knife. Okay, as you can see, except for this, that's fat wood, I processed this down even further, and I got these down to 2 nice small sticks. Point being that this big chopper is capable, and once again, let's take a look at that edge. So far so good. I got a couple of nice pieces, and hopefully they will do the job to make some feather sticks. I am going to choke up a bit on here. And so far so good. Again, I would recommend a smaller companion knife, a folder or another fixed blade, something a little bit smaller, right? Because this is pretty big. Not the best at the bushcraft stuff, but again, if you have to do it, you know you can. Okay, hopefully you see the curls that I'm making. Point being is that the edge is still sharp enough to do it. Small as it is, whether you make individual curls or not, I don't care. Again, I'm just showing you that it is still doing the job as big as this blade is. All right, troops. So I know this video is long, but again, if you're researching and you want to make sure that your $40 is going to be spent well, this is good research. Okay, so I'm going to get to the camp tasks. Okay, last but not least, I've had some camp material like this paracord, maybe some twist ties if you guys use twist ties. I have ferro rod. We're going to test out the spine. They're still constructing in this area. There's going to be a lot of construction for a while. So plenty of resources and material that I've been finding. So some of this material, some of these resources, these heavy duty ties, this is ties down pallets of shingles. And this is some electrical wire that was housed in this plastic tubing. I figured let's test out the plastic tubing. Now they already took out the copper wire, but you know, I figured this might be a good test to show everybody. All right, so let's take out a piece of this paracord right here. All right, so that worked pretty good. Let's do one more. You know, just a simple example. And my hands did take a bit of some abuse, you know, when I didn't have the glove on, especially when I was batoning. So, but as you can see, that did the job. I found some real heavy duty twist tie right here. Okay, this is some thick stuff. So let's see how this does. Oh, all right, good. That was nice and tough, but it still went through. All right, just kind of curious. Doing some clean chops. But yeah, man, this is that's some thick, heavy duty stuff. Good test. Okay. Let's put this down on the floor, get that out of the way. All right, so I have, once again, some real heavy duty pallet tie right here. And let's see how she does cutting. Not that you would, you know, take a knife like this out into the field. Okay, I gotta admit, not as easy as before. But I don't know why, man. It feels sharp. You know, I'm still making these nice little curls here. I know it's fat wood, but maybe, again, this is why you want to carry a, you know, companion knife with you but it feels sharp, guys. It does feel sharp. Let's see. Let's just do a quick chop here. Okay, I'm not even slamming it hard, but it's chopping. All right, you know what? I'm satisfied, man, with that. Now, I have a little bit of this tubing over here, so kind of curious. Do a little chop down. We just pick that up. Okay, we got some nice plastic tubing here. Let's see how this cuts. Okay, it did it. It did it. Now, kind of curious. There we go. Okay. And I'm sure electricians have a tool to split this open. But it's split open, just one side without cutting through the other. You know, and let's see. Okay. That works for me, man. Let's see if I can do. Well, it's definitely tough stuff. And again, it still feels sharp to me. That's nuts. Interesting, very interesting. I just think this is some tough stuff, you know. But as you saw, it did do the splitting. So now let me see, without cutting my finger. I can just cut all the way through with that tip. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so I think this is effective, troops. I think for $40, you're going to get your money's worth. You know what I mean? Now let's test out the spine, all right? Real quick. Yeah, that's good. That's good news. Okay, that's good news. Just a little example. Now let's see this type of wood right here. It'll do the same thing. Now that's just the bark. I want the wood to do it. You know what, let me try an angle over here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. It's doing it. It was bending on me. Good. Much better. Much better right there, okay? Good, 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 good. Good stuff. So we have fat wood. We have regular wood that is capable. Now, ferro rod, and then we'll call it a day. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. Good job, man. Let's conclude. Pretty badass. Now, I know I didn't chop up that first log, but that was a gnarly log, and man, oh man, did it just take up a lot of time. However, it did split this one right over here. I could have kept on going, but I know that this video is long enough. Point all being is that this blade for 40 bucks took some serious abuse. The GTKii 10, man, what a badass blade as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, did a reasonably well job with, you know, some of the finer tasks right here, individual curls, using the spine. It did spark, made some feather sticks or kindling, quartered, halved the wood. You know, I don't think you would take this on a construction site. However, it did do some of the tasks of materials that I found on the construction site. It's still sharp enough to take care of business. Now, I doubt that you'll be doing that kind of abuse out in the field. However, this is a chopper, and once again, you definitely want to have some form of a nice companion knife. Here's an example to take with you to do some of the finer work, and this will be your axe, quote unquote, your saw. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you just want to minimize on what you want to take out to the field, this chopper did a fine job. All right, troops, Legionnaires, new recruits, as always, thank you very much for taking the time to check out my channel and my videos. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about this knife. It did take a hell of a beating. Let me bring awareness, everybody. Hashtag 22 a day. Hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans in active military who wants to get out of the service. They do face a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So at the end of this video, pause on the slides, call those phone numbers, surf those websites, and seek the help you all have earned and deserved. You know what I've earned, troops? A nice cold drink. So at the ready, hold the line. Take care.
Legionnaires!